Hey, what's happening, legends? Anthony Chansmuth from Authentic Marketer here, and I wanted to do something different this week. Something I haven't done in a while, which is actually to review a couple of LinkedIn posts from some really cool people in my network, some friends, and basically share some insights on how I would improve the post from a copywriting perspective. So, putting on my copywriter hat, and wanted to share some ideas here. Okay, so the first is a post by Christina here, who is a fractional CMO, just like myself. And I've actually had a wonderful chat with her and did some coaching to help her, you know, with her packaging and whatnot. So it's great to see Christina putting some effort into content. Well done, Christina. So first thing about this particular post is it's all text, which is all fine. I like the spacing, so that's all good. And Christina starts off with a really nice hook here, which is silence speaks louder than advertising. Okay, so it's a curiosity-provoking type of statement, great for grabbing attention. And then we get into last year. I took a bold step. Instead of doubling down on advertising for my client, I doubled down on listening. The results, stunning. Okay, here, right? Immediately I would say, okay, instead of just saying stunning, right, back that up. Like clearly, something that I do when I'm writing case studies for clients is we always start with a metrics-driven headline. And what I mean by that is we want to actually make it clearly evident to the reader what the actual result or the outcome was, right? And as much as possible, we want to put some numbers there just so that they can grasp the real impact of that particular work, right? So something we could switch up here is instead of using this headline, we could actually start off with the actual result of the case study, right? So here, Christina mentions that further down, she's got, we increased customer retention by 33%. Okay, that's awesome. That's a great result. Okay, so how I would add that is, how I would tweak that, right, is to, let me just click this neat little JavaScript here. Worth, like that's worth $10 million to the business, right? So, or whatever that dollar value is, okay? Because if we look at percentages, again, people don't really understand percentages. We can say, oh, there was a 400% increase, but unless you're backing that up with actual like dollar values or time values, whatever it is, it's still quite nebulous for people to understand, right? Now, then we could take that statement. It's okay to leave it there, but then I would pull it up here and I would just say, right, like, here's how we increased customer retention for XYZ company by 33%, worth blah 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 to the business. Curious, and then I might do a finger pointing down here. Keep reading, right? And then you can go into the silence speaks louder advertising. That's all good. This is punchy. You could even use some. There's some tools online that you can use to add like bold text and italics and whatever it is. You can even add emojis to this if you want to. Just depends on your particular brand and how you want to communicate. But that's kind of where I would start, right? And then that immediately then grabs my attention. If instead of XYZ company, if you don't want to name the company and you want to keep the client private, that's okay. But you can say for a a 20 or a $2 million SaaS. Okay, so health tech SaaS. So you can actually call out what industry that business is in, what type of business it is, and that immediately informs the readers who you actually help, right? And that's a really nice way to seed, if you will, and clarify who it is that you serve. Okay, so that's probably the main tweak here. The rest of this is pretty good. Where possible, uh, yeah, just try and add some context to the statements you're making, any claims. Um, the listen more start today. You might be saying what you remember customers, and then here let's call out like, hey, by the way, if you're a $2 million health tech health tech startup, uh, and you want some help increasing, retention, uh, send me a DM and let's chat. All right. So, you know, don't be afraid to end with a call to action and say that you're the person to help them. Okay, because here's a case study. I've just given you the evidence that I know what I'm doing, and I've been able to do it with some other clients. And why don't you get in touch? Okay, so that's a couple of tweaks I'd made to Christina's post. But otherwise, Christina, excellent job, and I just love seeing more of your content. I'm going to give you one more, which is my buddy Ivan Chu, who is a workplace strategy director. He's been in the industry for a long time, like we're talking decades here, a wealth of knowledge. Beyond that, he's got he's got a mixed bag of skill sets: psychology, data analysis, project management. He's also an improv theater performer and trainer. So really cool friend of mine. So Ivan's here talking about again what he does at Workspace Insights, his company. We're not just workplace strategists and commercial project managers. We're sustainability champions, data driven. Okay, here I would say that first statement that's about me. Like I'm writing it, I'm reading it like, oh, that's about. It's like you want to flip it and make it about them, right? Whoever the reader is. So try and start with some kind of again curiosity statement, attention grabbing headline, a hook of some sort, where you're kind of saying, well, like you could say something like it could be depends how controversial you are, but you could if you want you could say something like 90 98% of workplace strategists suck. We don't. Here's why, right? Right, something like that. I don't think that necessarily fits Ivan's tone of voice and how he talks, but he may say something not as edgy, but he might say, miss the point when it comes to um, workplace strategy. And then you might go into here's why. You might explain in a paragraph like share a specific insight around something that they don't do that you do really well, right? And this is a really good chance to um, maybe not miss the point or miss this one key thing, right? And so you're saying, okay, well, that's if I'm in the market for a workplace strategist, I'm going, oh, well, what's that one key thing, all right? And so now you've grabbed my attention, and now you can say, let me explain, all right? And then you start off with explain the one thing, yeah. And then from there, it's easy to transition to what you do. You can say, well, we're not just workplace strategists and commercial property project managers, right? We're also sustainability champions, data-driven workplace strategists and knowledge sharers. A lot of jargon here. So maybe depending on who your target audience, your prospective client or buyer is, you maybe tone down some of that languaging. And maybe just share a story. Like you could even go into, well, let me tell you about this one project and how we were able to help them and whatever the outcome was, right? So something that here I haven't talked about here is here's what sets us apart: sustainable, cost effective. Okay, tell me about a specific result, right? I.e., how we saved XYZ company, $20 million, right? You're cost effective. Okay, well, how much money did you save a particular company, right? With a specific fit out or whatever it may be. because I know that Ivan's actually done that. He's actually shared a post previously um, where he talks about a specific project he's worked on. So again, let's get very specific around claims that you're making. Data-driven decisions. Give me a story. You could actually pull each of these points apart into separate posts, where you actually share stories of you doing each one of those things, and what the outcome was, right? And then you can link to them from here. So he's got the call to action, which is great. Um, Unlock the hidden potential of your workplace. Again, that's very like pie in the sky. I'd like that to be a clearer call to action. Ready to unlock $10 million of savings, potential savings with your workplace. For me, that's more tangible for someone to grasp onto, right? And they go, oh, okay, well, yeah, I do want to save $10 million, or I want to increase my revenue by, whatever, $10,000 a month, whatever it is, right? So again, let's try and get more specific where we can. The rest of this is all good. Maybe reduced to 3 to 5 hashtags. It gets a bit crazy. It looks like it's keyword stuffing when you do that. But otherwise, those would be a couple of tweaks for Ivan. All right. So anyway, I hope you find this particular these tips useful, and how you might think about your content and how you're putting up, particularly these case study driven or like positioning type posts where you're sharing your expertise and what you're able to do and who you work for, right? So um, there you go. Okay, so that's it for me. Thanks for subscribing. Share this with anyone else that you might find that you think they might find it useful. And if you want me to review one of your posts, drop your posts in the comments, and happy to do more of these. That's it for me. See you later.